Hi everybody, Mr. Physics, Jose Sandoval here, and I'm really excited to introduce you to how my class makes sense out of the information behind me, how to tell the difference between slowing down and speeding up when we look at a position time graph. So let's make some arm and hand signals, shall we? Let's make the arm and hand signal for slowing down. Let's start off with this one first. This signal over here captures the fact that the graph has a very, very steep slope at first. If you remember, velocity is the slope of the position time graph, so that says the object's traveling really fast here. But as we move towards later times, we see the slope leveling out and tending towards zero. Make sure your hand is nice and flat over there. What that represents is that object going from fast to slow. Because if velocity is the slope of the position time graph, when the slope is zero, flat land, good farmland, that means the object is stopped. Whereas if the slope is really big, like it is over here, that would make good skiing slope land, and the object would be traveling very fast. Let's just invert our hand and do what I call the teacup. Whereas this was like the arch, or the you have to be this tall to ride this ride. Let's all make the teacup over here. And what do we have to do if we're going fast and somebody puts a teacup in our hand? We have to slow down. And this captures this graph because at first the slope of the line is very, very steep. And then the slope of this line tends to go to shallow. So hold out your hand and don't flip it back and forth, because guess what? We're going to put a teacup on your hand and you can't drop it. You need to stay slow. You need to slow down. Now, both of these graphs, if you notice, you can invert your palm down and out towards the world. And it's like you're telling the world, stop. So these two graphs represent slowing down. Another way of remembering it is pulling out your palm and saying to the world, stop. Let's go over to speeding up. Whereas the slope of slowing down went towards zero, the slope of speeding up, the slope of the line that's tangent to the position time curve, diverges from zero, heads away from zero. So right here, it might be flat, the curve might be flat, but as time goes on, the curve takes on a very steep slope that isn't flat, that's angled. Now, let's make this one that I call the actor, or the Khan from Star Trek. Over here, hold your hand out like this. If you notice, the graph starts off very flat, but then it heads to a very, very steep slope. And if you take your hand and say to the world, come on, you can see that this is telling something to speed up. Let's take our hand and invert it like a claw down. Now, the claw symbol also starts off with flat slope and an object that is speeding up, having a very big slope. And if you just take your hand and wave the world past you, you can let it go past you and say, tell it to speed up. And that's how you tell the difference. One way that we've internalized these four curves to make sure that we always take this information with us and we never get confused by it. Looking forward to the next time. Remember, physics is fun, confusion is the sweat of learning, and all that stuff. Love you guys. Mr. Physics out.